And hello loves, welcome back to another reactionary video with your girl Sarah. Today's reaction, we are starting a new series. I saw it on YouTube, so if you end up seeing any bit of mine or with me and decide you want to watch it, I will leave a link to the channel and you can easily find it, and I would encourage to give them love and support and watch it on your own, or if you choose to watch it with me, still try to give them some kind of love and support. We are watching Jesus Freaks, and I'm excited. I've watched this YouTuber before, one of the two girls before, and enjoyed her stuff. She's very Christian friendly, and I'm excited, as always. Like I say, I'm excited to see more Christian content out and entertainment out for us to be able to enjoy, because I never think that there is too much of it. Options are great. So yeah, let's go ahead and start in on that. But first, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment any suggestions you have for me to react to in the future, and keep it Christian friendly if you may, and if you do not, then I will not be reacting to it. I will still look into it to see if it's Christian friendly, but as said before, if I'm reacting to it, even if the reaction is done and I feel not okay about it, then I'm not going to post it. I'd rather have wasted effort put in than put something out that I feel like the Lord is strongly holding against me, or not holding, strongly holding me back from. I'd rather do for the Lord than of the world, because the prize is always greater. But yes, let's go ahead and get on into it.
It's kind of bright out here. Hi. How did you sleep last night, Ash?
Yeah, I could have slept more.
Okay. That's fair.
How did you sleep?
I slept good. I feel like I had a bunch of dreams last night, though I can't remember them yet.
I pray that you have dreams about our future that are actually good.
I feel like I've been getting like a lot of warning dreams lately, which is great. Like, I'm so grateful for them. Those are probably the most important, but I would love some encouragement.
Already liking the start of this. Very much reality TV, which I think is great, because there are a bunch of people that love reality TV shows, and so giving yourself a Christian option to watch, and I'm sure for them it's easy to transition to because of blogging and stuff. I think they blog, or at least Ashley does, or at least dabbles in that, so I can see how this would be a go-to. And like I said, a lot of people like reality TV, so having a Christian alternative or is great. Honestly, I think that I don't think you should shy away from, I have to be careful with how I word this because it could come off not how I'm meaning it. Getting not secular ideas or ideas from secular things as in doing the same thing, but if there is something that you enjoy, or you see that other people enjoy, that is secular to the point to where there isn't any or many Christian versions, and it's appropriate, I think that's great to dive into and make sure that it's Christian friendly or Christian based. Like, for example, reality TV show in itself is not bad. There is very, very many ones that are not good for you. At least it's like eating a whole bunch of junk food. It's not going to fill you and nourish you. But the concept in itself of reality TV show, like I said, vlogs, is very similar. Very cut from the same cloth type deal. So there are Christian creators that do vlogs. So having a reality TV show series is great, because this is something either a Christian who enjoys that kind of content but looking to steer clear of a lot of the inappropriate or just not good for you, having this to lean into, is good, or somebody who is curious about Jesus or just wants something cleaner or just whatever. Like, this could be very much something they could steer into. And I do a lot of this same thing with my writing, as far as, and sometimes I worry like there's going to be a lot of people that criticize my writing because I dive into things that isn't necessarily overall what Christians would think should be written about, as far as from a Christian perspective. I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying as far as in, if you grew up in a Christian space of like extreme religious types, you understand what I'm saying, or very by the book, law based. Like, there's this concept that if you are Christian, it has to be very clean and very tidy and very much a certain way about it. Like, it shouldn't even question if it's anything that's not okay. But then again, like, I felt both from him creating me the way I am, and kind of there are certain things that I feel him pull me towards topic wise to help others. Very much like I say before, that my stuff is very much adult rated, but not as far as in spicy and cussing and stuff, but more so with the topics it deals with. So, as in, there will be some people that lean into my stuff that isn't necessarily very much a normal, clean Christian read, as far as in is tied up in a bow and all nice and sweet. Maybe just a slight struggle or whatever. Like, it's very much into the trenches. That's not going to necessarily be for every Christian. Like, that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. That's not going to be everyone. But it could take people who are interested in that kind of stuff and are trying to lean away from the secular versions, give them something to go into. Or non-Christians just exploring around, and maybe it brings them to Christ. Or just some people who are having the same struggles as the characters. Like I said, not every Christian is the same as far as in what they enjoy consuming, watching, doing. So having a variety to be able to enjoy entertainment wise is just like so exciting. Like, because not every person is the same. God does not create every person the same. So not everybody's interests and not everyone is going to be the same. But as long as you are keeping it in a God friendly way, or like being led by the Lord by what you do, I think it's great to have these genres and these different arts styles and like different songs, different TV shows, different having Christian spaces in these spaces you wouldn't expect them to, but having them in a Christian appropriate ways is very much like, I'm excited for this.
It's just like a lot of change, you know? It just sucks. Like, all the disappointment. Like, you think that God is blessing you, and then he just takes it away. Nothing makes sense right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea what our life is going to look like anymore.
Yeah.
And I know that the Lord wants us to depend on him, but that is just not helping me want to stay here.
Obviously, seems like these girls are struggling with a new situation, and more so situation that feels like they are stepping back to where they were. And that's something you got to be careful of. I'm not saying how they're feeling, you got to be careful of. I'm saying as far as in these moments, you have to be careful to make sure you are fully leaning on God, because those are hard. Sometimes the Lord will give you something and take it away for different reasons. Sometimes it's just for testing out. Like, I want you to test this out for a moment, but then I need you to come back so I can grow you, so you are better for it when I bring it to you again. Or sometimes it's just wasn't the Lord to begin with, or sometimes it's just a seasonal thing to where that was for a season. It always hurts so much when the Lord takes people out of your lives. And a lot of times you have to understand that people can be in your lives for a season, and whatever the reasons is, God always takes them out for a reason. Sometimes it's just neither one of you did something wrong, but you were just going separate ways, and meeting for a season was what God meant for you, for your own journeys of growth that you guys would have put into each other, or maybe you put into them, they put into you, whatever it may be. Or sometimes it's just people that seem like God's putting into your life that he isn't, or just people that have been in your life that God's taken out. Like, it's always, change is always hard, but very much you need to lean into the Lord and just hold on to him tighter, because he always has his reasons, even when you aren't sure of the reasons or the purpose behind whatever he's doing, especially when you thought you knew, like you thought, oh, this is the start, and then he's like, oh, nope, that was kind of a false start. Like, they can be very foundational shaking moments, but that doesn't mean that your foundation is weak. It doesn't mean that you're weak, or that it just means that there is a reason for it, and you just need to hold on stronger. And there is always, in these situations, growth planned out or from God for you.
Are we late right now?
Well, we're leaving right now, so we'll probably be there in like an hour and 30 maybe.
Wait, I'm so excited.
But it's definitely good that they have each other, because a lot of people in this situation could just be by themselves, and it makes it all the harder. So having each other, even just the two or the few of them that they said, like that, they are both, it's sad they're in the position they're in and they're hurt in the way, and at the same time it's something that they very much are blessed with at the same time. But you can be blessed and hurt at the same time. You can both mourn what you don't have and understand that it's better, you're in a better predicament than somebody else, but that doesn't make the hurt or the mourning mean anything less. Like, don't be the person that says, well, you have it better than such and such, so you should be grateful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as far as in those moments, understanding both sides, or at least coming out of them and understanding both sides, is very much important. Because you're not going to tell somebody who has one kind of cancer that's not that deadly, but still is a trial, that, oh, they're lucky they don't have the kind that's just like automatic death, or just different situations. Like, you're not going to tell somebody who's lost one limb, oh, you're lucky you at least still have your others, and that you're not, like, that's not what you say. Like, that's not how you should be producing it. Like Paul says, rejoice with those rejoicing and mourn with those mourning, or grieve. But basically, be where that person's at with them. Don't put on them more than, like, don't bring somebody down, and don't try to be that sour sunshine when somebody just needs to grieve in the moment.
I'm kind of happy that we're staying here for the holidays. So maybe our holidays are just gonna be the two of us celebrating Christmas together.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Until the Lord sends our spouses.
You are my spouse.
You're my companion.
Until my husband comes.
Which, who knows?
Hey, just like Jonathan and David, family comes in so many forms. Best friends are usually the best kind of family to have.
Hey, so back to that. Where are our husbands? Hello?
Whenever I take the trash out, I'm like, why am I doing this?
I can kind of see where they're coming from. I can't speak too much into singleness, because I've not been single in my adulthood, to say the least. So I can't understand what it's like to be looking for your husband in this kind of sense that most Christian girls are. But I have noticed that is like a very much theme of Christian girls getting to a certain age, usually like their 20s or whatever, and just looking for their husband, looking for their man. And I can understand wanting to find your man and your companion, because it very much can feel lonely. At the same time, you got to make sure that you're not so concerned about looking for your future spouse and overlooking things, because you have to be careful not to be focusing so hard on your future spouse and who they might be, and overstepping and overlooking the things that God is calling you to. Because if he has not brought that person into your life, there's obviously things in your life that he means for you before then. Otherwise, they would be in your life. And vice versa, maybe there's things in their life that they're not ready for you. And so if you don't want to rush those things and you don't want to dwell on those things, and you just got to be careful not to do that. I can say enough of maybe not being able to relate to the whole dying for that spouse in your as a young Christian woman, like wondering every day, like when's it gonna be, when is it gonna be. But I can say, as far as in relating it to, I guess, purpose wise, writing wise, I've been on this journey forever, and it feels like, and I'm just always wondering, okay, well, Lord, when's it gonna be? When's it gonna be? When's it gonna be? Like, is this the year, or is this the, like, constantly just wanting it to happen, but learning that to be observant and grateful for the moment that is given to you, and realizing that there's a reason that the space and the quiet and the season you're in is for a reason. I can speak to it in that kind of sense, as far as, and I very much know what it's like to just be waiting for something that, for your life to start kind of deal. Like I said, you have to be careful that when you are in that waiting phase, that you're not in that waiting phase thinking that your life isn't going to start until whatever it is you're waiting on is to come, because obviously your life has already started, and that if you get so sucked into that, it's going to waste away the time you do have, and the learning you do have to do, the growing you do have to, like, you can both be mournful while also being understanding and joyful in those moments, because the Lord is not going to purposely withhold something from your life just because. He's going to withhold it for reasons, whether it's because you're not ready, which is usually the case, or it's not ready. Whatever the case may be. Maybe it's the timing is so specific to make the path greater, or maybe it's just simply that you have a lot more to do in your own relationship with Him, in your own path, so when it does come, that it is a greater blessing. Whatever it may be, you just have to be careful not to be so stuck on what you're seeing as a problem that you let it direct your gaze away from the Lord, and away from understanding that even when you don't understand, that He has reason behind it and purpose behind it that is going to bring far greater joy into your life than if it just happened like that. Because it could happen just like in a second, but there's a reason it's not.
Like, I can do it, I just don't want
I'm
to.
tired.
There will
I'm
always
just a
be
girl.
times
I'm
to where you'll
literally
have to
just
pick
a
up
girl.
heavy
I'm
things.
just a daughter. Last time I checked, daughters don't carry anything heavy.
Period.
They have their father
Yeah,
to
that's
take
not.
care of it for them.
That's true.
So God, please help me lift heavy things. Thank you so much.
Amen.
It's the way that I saw Simon Cowell on a bicycle.
Bye.
Finally.
No, finally, because it's the amount of times he's actually already gone by, and I'm like, there he goes, and you never see him.
Bro,
It
that
is
was
better
God's
to learn
grace.
to pick up
He
those
was
heavy
smiling. He was
things
having the best day ever.
No, that
How
was
precious
God's
and be
was that?
grateful
God's
for when
grace.
He
others
was with his friend,
help you
and they
out.
were bicycling in Malibu.
Because there'll be moments
he looks like
to
he's
where
retired,
you'll
just,
need
like,
to
having
pick
the
up those
best
heavy
life.
things,
No,
even
bro
when you
only
have
has
those
one
people
thing
in
on
your
his
life.
schedule. It is bike.
This. He was having a great day. I bless Simon
I get
Cowell
it's a
in Jesus'
stereotype,
name.
and women
I
like to have
bless
things
him.
done for them.
The cool
At the same
thing
time,
is,
you
like,
have to realize that
obviously we're still sitting here single. I'm a whopping 29 years
even
old.
when you're with somebody, there's going to be seasons to
But
where
I
you
do
gotta
have
be
peace.
lifting things, whether
I think what's really beautiful about following the Lord
metaphorically
is, like, the gift of
or
surrender.
literally.
You don't have that when you're in the world. You're just always hanging on to things, and you're always anxious. You don't have anything to give it to.
Even with our husbands, it would probably be crazy to people for them to hear us say that, like, we actually are trusting the Lord to bring these men into our lives, and we're not doing anything to control it. That is crazy to people. Like, I tell that to someone in the world, and they're like, you're nuts.
How are you not doing anything about it?
Like, you're just being still? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Now we do have to do things.
So
like
that's
that
what
is
I love,
something
like,
I
we
get.
actually
They're probably
have
not
somebody to give our burdens to. We don't
wording it right, but
Yeah,
you
Dad
do
really
still
does wanna
have
carry
to
it.
I get
be
to surrender
proactive in
things, which maybe
things.
can be scary.
There are
'cause
things
it
where
really
God's
is
like,
just
hey,
Like,
I'll bring it
alright,
to you.
I'm just
But
gonna
most of the
still
time, he's
entrust
just
you with
like,
this.
hey,
But
you
how
want this?
beautiful
I
is the
need you
gift of
to
surrender that we get
do
to just
this.
give him things.
Yeah.
So in a
And he
way,
takes care
they're
of it, and
waiting
we don't
and
have to,
their
like,
work on
carry that.
themselves
Yeah.
is
It's like I was
the
single in
work
the
they're
world, and I'm
doing
single now.
to
That's
bring
not
them to their
different, but what
person.
is I'm not carrying that responsibility and that burden of feeling like I have to do something about it. I get to just give it to him. That's crazy. That he's like, yeah, put it on my shoulders. I can take that. What a gift.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though and say that sometimes I do
And see
get
that in
scared.
itself, the thing that people forget about the yoke. Yes, there are things that fully you give to the Lord, he will take it off of you completely. At the same time, the whole metaphor of the yoke, of putting things on his shoulder, is it's still something you both have to be doing. You don't have to carry as much weight. He will take the bolt of the weight, yet there is still effort you need to put in. Like, as far as in the yoke is still around your neck as well. A yoke is for two animals. So putting a yoke around the Lord, or like yoking yourself to the Lord and to Jesus, is still going to be Jesus is holding most of the weight, yes, but you have to follow his steps. You are still taking those steps. You are still going and working and doing the things you need to do. You're just doing it beside him, with him holding most of the weight. So you have to be careful to know that it's like when you ask for patience, or when you ask for courage, or when you ask for these virtues and you ask the Lord for these different things, the Lord's not just going to, I mean, sometimes it will. Sometimes there are those testimonies that the Lord pulled somebody out of drugs or alcohol or a terrible situation in seconds. Like I said, I'm not doubting that God can do anything and within seconds. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the most testimonies and most paths and most of your life, it's not going to be God taking things from you completely. It's going to be God giving you opportunities to work with him to grow, to work with him to be more patient. But that means you're going to have to be in situations to where you're both going to have to remember to lean on him for that patience, and that you need to grow that patience. Like, if you are ever around people that test your patience, that in itself will tell you, like, patience isn't something that is, like, that is something you have to learn. That is something, working with your anger, letting go of your anger. Like, there's always going to be, you have to stretch that muscle in a sense. Like, you have to work with both, lean on God in prayer and remind yourself of the tools you learn. Like, when you're in a frustrated situation, you have to remind yourself in that moment both to pray to God and to be focusing on the tools he's given you, breathing, memorizing scripture, praying, taking a moment. So important to just take a moment and just like collect yourself. Otherwise, things unearned, in a sense of learning habits to grow them, don't usually last as long as things that are just given to you. It's kind of like when your parent just gives you a car or gives you a gift. It's more likely that you're going to damage that a lot quicker than if you did something to earn it. I'm not saying gifts are bad. What I'm saying is, a lot of times when you do something, when you put in work and effort to achieve something, even if it is alongside somebody, it's going to leave more of an impact, because not only did you get the thing, but you learned while getting the thing. You put in effort and strengthened yourself and went through that season of difficulty to get that thing, and it made you a different person.
Lord, can I really trust you to deliver this without me having to do anything? Like, do you really want to show up for me that bad that I would not have to lift a finger and you would do this for me?
And even those
Especially
moments are
with
so hard.
delivering our husbands in Los Angeles.
Because
I know. It's Los Angeles. That's like the one place that everyone...
Patience, especially for somebody who is very difficult with patience, it's very hard to not do something. So like I said, I'm not saying that there aren't moments in your life to where you don't have to put in the effort. Sometimes not putting in the effort is the effort itself of that is what God is growing you, of just trusting in him, growing your faith to just lean on him and trust in him in these moments of not doing anything. I just wanted to clear that up because I went on the whole rant of you still have to do things. But yeah, sometimes doing things is trusting the Lord and not doing anything in your moment. One thing I'm learning myself is to learn when to speak and what to say in moments of, like, when you're talking to somebody and you want to just be like so stubborn with your response or so reactive or just like instant or just not putting in the effort or like putting in the forethought of what you're saying or what you're doing. Sometimes not doing something is an effort in itself of learning maybe I should take a step back and carefully select my words and how I say them. That way it gets to them the way I'm meaning it, or maybe they aren't a person that what I'm saying is going to get through, and so it's more of a waste. Or just basically the whole proverb of correcting a fool in his folly makes you then the fool, and not correcting the fool in his folly then makes him think he's right. Basically knowing which person you're talking to, because there's going to be people that you can correct and it does nothing, and then you basically are just like, well, that was foolish of me because I should have known better to waste my time with this person, like as far as in correcting them or doing whatever, because then that was energy lost on my behalf and just got me frustrated and me in a predicament that I could have just kept silent and not had to worry about it. And then there's the person that they could be doing something and you correct them and they're like, oh, okay, like I didn't know that was wrong, but now that I do, like, thank you. So your effort is received well, and then you're both better for it because they're growing because you taught them and like you learned to teach somebody, I guess. But yeah, sometimes not doing something is the effort, and that I can understand where this is where the Lord is taking these girls to, where trusting him is something that they very much need to grow on, even from what they're saying. I'm not saying that their faith is weak or anything. I'm just saying as far as in the Lord takes you different ways, and just from their own words, it's showing that that seems to be a journey they're on, is learning to trust in the Lord more so. So him saying, hey, I will bring them to you, is definitely going to be something that's hard and something they're going to have to work on.
I don't need a Christian boy, I need a mog.
Like a real man of God.
I'm telling you, it will be a literal miracle.
Yeah, but good thing that's literally the Lord's favorite thing to do. Good thing he's the only one that can do that.
I know one day I'm going to thank God for everything that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And everything that didn't go to plan. Because he has something.
And that's such a mature stance to take. So hard, but so,
but I don't think this one's over. I think he's still
definitely something you have to learn. Thank God both for the open doors and the shut doors. For both the pain and suffering and the glory and joy.
There's two types of best friends. There's always one. Either you're the one that like checks out the menu before, or you don't at all. You're the one who checks it. I don't. I'm the one who checks it the night before.
Honestly, I never heard of that hack until this past year or so, and now I'm hooked on it because it's just like, I want to make sure there's something I want to eat or I'm okay with eating, and I also don't want to feel like I'm on the spot, because I've been in a situation, especially like loud, like crowded places, very much are hard for me to process things. Like I was with somebody at Cracker Barrel once, and it did not hit me how hard it is for me to think in situations to where it's just like noisy, until I literally apologized to the waiter multiple times because I was like looking at the menu and like trying to find something, and it's like my brain would not compute the words and pictures to my brain of what I want to eat. So yes, if you have a hard time, for one, picky eater and just wanting to make sure there's something there you eat, or two, just having trouble with noises and like overstimulation in situations, then looking up the menu beforehand is very much a great thing to do. And especially if you just are uncomfortable with new places, like that just takes the barrier off of you. So yeah, I can totally understand the situation.
Al, how are you feeling about your worship music right now?
Oh, she's a worship artist? That's pretty awesome.
I mean, I feel hopeful. Like, I know that it's something the Lord has for my life. You know, like, I'm excited, but I really don't know how He's going to do it. You know?
That's
But, yeah.
both a bittersweet
I'm
thing, because
excited
it's just like,
that I'm learning guitar.
it's so great to see
It was
the
so
Lord
sweet.
work
When I was home, my sister taught me, like,
through
2 chords.
things at the same
So I'm
time. It's
excited.
just like
I feel like I actually have a
putting your
desire to
trust
pick
that
up my
He will
guitar.
work through that is, it can be
You know?
very hard.
I don't feel I'm supposed to be waiting for somebody else to tell me that I'm good enough or to give me an opportunity. You know, it's like if I don't have a ministry to sing with right now, that's okay. I'm just gonna keep practicing at home and like singing. I can sing on the internet. You literally could just sing on the internet.
And that's one thing that's so great about our
I'm not doing anything at all.
generation is we have so many opportunities to do things by ourselves,
Except for
like for ourselves, without having to worry about like a label if you're an
like, you
artist,
don't need a church to say
or a publisher, or just whatever it is. You don't need people. Like there's so many free opportunities you can do to
because I feel a grace right now, and you
help
can learn
with your
from the Holy
career.
Spirit. The Holy Spirit can teach
It's
you.
great. Honestly, I think that's why we have so many more Christian stuff coming out, like as far as in art forms and stuff like that, is because we live in this day and age to where it's so, I'm not going to say it's easy to do things for yourself. It still takes effort, but it's easier than it was. Like you don't have to depend, like if you absolutely want to do something and feel the Lord pulling you towards something, like you don't have to do, like there are plenty of routes and avenues that you can go down to start things and grow your career and your passion and your whatever it may be. Like there's so many, and it's so easy to get people to see your stuff, and that's pretty great.
What a fun day. That was sweet. I really liked today. It was girls being girls. Yeah, I think my heart needed that. I had ice cream. Girl, you had ice cream. How'd it feel? Tell me about it. It felt so good. Good. Balance is good. I felt a little guilty. But I think that that's normal. Yeah. But also it's like probably not okay. It's really like not normal a little bit. Well, I think it's normal, but is it from the Lord? No. Like when I say normal, it's like you're not the only person feeling that, especially as a woman. I think that that's actually quite common. It's like guilty for feeling. The fact that I felt guilty after eating ice cream is like stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something
like, no, I need to enjoy food.
You have to be careful of is learning the difference between your own self-guilt and shame and the Lord convicting you, because a lot of times people can struggle with feeling guilty about something and thinking it's the Lord putting something on them, but it might just not be. And sometimes it will be to where you are feeling the Lord push something on you and you just explain it away, like especially if you deal with OCD or like religious OCD or whatever. Like that's something that I used to have, or like I still struggle with sometimes, but had to learn and still learning. Just like knowing the difference, and that's why it's so important to read the Bible. And just like sometimes when it's difficult to know what the, like if it is the Lord or not, because sometimes that will happen. Like it's so frustrating when you hear people say like when the Lord's like, you'll know if it's from the Lord. And yes and no, because there are times to where the Lord will speak to you and it's just like clear as day, like there's no doubt that was the Lord. And sometimes there can be things that you're hearing. And when I say hearing, I'm not saying like verbally hearing. Now, There are some people that will audibly hear from the Lord and stuff like that. I'm more so like when it's put on your heart or just like thoughts in your head or whatever, when it like the way the Lord talks to you, it's different for everyone. But when it feels like it might be from the Lord, or even when you are convinced that it is from the Lord, but then you do hear from the Lord and you're just like, how did I think that the one before was from the Lord? Because sometimes your flesh will trick you, sometimes the enemy will trick you, and sometimes it will sound so much like the Lord that even someone who has been a Christian, like a seasoned, that's the word, a seasoned Christian can get confused. So you just have to be careful. And like I said, there are some things to where you just have to learn. And one thing that I have learned, that staying in the Word is so helpful, because you can lean into the Word and that will many times clarify. And sometimes you can do different things as far as in fasting, whether it's a food-based fast where you're taking a meal or meals away, or taking and limiting what you eat for a certain period of time, and or taking away social media, or basically taking something away that you find pleasure in, that's going to bring you closer to God. And I don't say like, I'm not saying like if you find pleasure in reading the Bible, don't read the Bible as a fast. I'm saying as far as in if it's something that you can take away from your life that's not going to hinder your relationship with God, but pull you closer by leaning more towards in. Like sometimes I like to, sometimes when I'm not doing an actual food fast, because I have health issues, so sometimes I can't, and I feel like the Lord, for me personally, is saying like, hey, I don't want you to fast like that anymore. So as far as in taking meals away or some stuff like that, so that is something I'm kind of weaning away for at least maybe a good season, maybe permanently. Sometimes it can just be, okay, I'm going to set a time with the Lord, because he'll always guide you. If it is a fast, you want to do a fast with him. One thing you could do is like 21 days of just watching and reading and just strictly Christian based or Christian based and Christian friendly stuff, and it could get you closer to the Lord, or just different things. There's different ways you can fast to help you clarify the Lord's voice sometimes, or all the time, falling into his word and just having that on repeat, like reading the Bible once a year, every year, reading it multiple times a year, just reading it every day, just like being in the Word will help clarify his voice. And even then, sometimes you have to be careful, because it can be scripture brought to you that isn't the Lord bringing it to you, kind of like how Jesus was confronted with Satan, and Satan himself was talking scripture, but because Jesus is the Word, he brought him back to the Word, and it's like, yeah, what you're saying there, I get it's in me. I get that is me. I get that's in the Bible, but yeah, what you're saying about it, not right. But hey, this is right. Constantly battling that, and so you have to also be careful of, just because scripture comes to mind doesn't always mean that it's going to be from the Lord. Like, you have to understand more so, like dig into the reality of the Lord talking to you. And sometimes, always praying with the Lord and saying, Lord, I am struggling to know if this is you or not. Because the Lord isn't going to be spiteful or petty or anything like that and think, oh, I said this to you and you didn't get it, you didn't grasp it, so like I'm not gonna have, no, he's gonna understand your struggle more than even you understand your struggle. So praying about it and saying, Lord, I need you to help me through this, and then just taking your time with it, with him, and then just like learning, like he will eventually break you through it. Like there is many times to where I've had things in my life to where I'm just like confused, and I am a seasoned Christian. So saying it, my testimony in itself, I am very much a seasoned Christian. I might not be as seasoned as some people, but I've been on my walk for a very long time. So I still struggle with things. And I say that to encourage you, to whoever may be struggling with something, that no matter how long you've been with the Lord, you can still struggle with things. Like, don't let people discourage you and make you think that you struggling with something means that you're doing something poor in your walk with Christ. Now, there might be some things you could be doing better, or maybe there's some things that you just need, or like you need to alter, or maybe it is like if you are putting in the effort and really wanting to grow and learn and hear the word of God and hear God's voice and stuff like that, don't let others, even if they are Christians, seasoned Christians, whoever they may be, discourage you. Because one thing Jesus always doted on, or the people Jesus always doted on and always like wanted to help and care for, were people who were struggling but were finding it difficult to understand how to go about it. Like even children of faith and all kinds of people. Like the people Jesus got onto the most were people who thought that they didn't need, like they had it right and didn't need to, like that, who had that ego in them and didn't think they needed to be corrected. It wasn't really people who were coming to him who were earnest in their faith and just struggling. So if you are struggling to know if what you are hearing is the Lord convicting you, or if it's your own guilt or the enemy guilting you, like always take it, like I said, take it to the Word, take it to the Lord, process it, chew on it, pray about it. He will give you an answer. It might not be right away, but I guarantee you he will give you an answer. And there are, you just need to settle within your relationship with God. Like you need to take it to him every single time.
Isn't it dumb that the enemy makes us feel guilty sometimes for that?
Well, I think it's interesting with you because that's a lot of like what you do is like nutrition and food and stuff. So obviously he's going to try his best to just pervert it when it's actually such a strength.
And sometimes if you're not careful, that in itself could become an idol.
But he's trying to
to
twist
where
it so that it's unhealthy. So now you're like so extreme that you don't even have ice cream once in a while.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He's trying
to where something as simple as your diet becomes your idol because you're so obsessed with making sure that is above everything and is checks every box, that it becomes more important than like the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
Like idols can come so easily in your life, even as a Christian. Like you have to be careful what you're.
The pressure to be perfect is not from God.
And impossible, by the way.
Basically, if you're going by it by a law-based situation to where it has to be this way,
he totally was next to us, like loving.
Like that will become an idol.
What flavor do
and
you
that
think
is
you would
unhealthy,
get?
Mentally and spiritually, physically, all around. Like anything.
So good.
I don't think I tried that.
Like there's a difference between curating your surroundings and what you consume and being self-conscious about it and making it to the point to where you're
I have no idea what's next.
Just completely idolizing it.
Yeah, what the heck? It's almost like when you follow the Lord, it actually really is a mystery because you don't have your own, like, we have a plan, but ultimately, like, the Lord is the one that determines our footsteps.
One thing the Lord is kind of trying to bring out in my relationship with him, leaning into not necessarily long prayers as much as just finding solace in being with him every single night for longer than I'm used to. Even if it's just silent, even if I'm just sitting there with my thoughts with him and trying to hear from him. Because sometimes I'm very much a person, like I don't purposely try to do this, and I know that I'm not the only one who struggles with this, but as far as in not necessarily rushing through prayers, like before it was learning that I didn't have to be wordy with my prayers in a sense, like I didn't have to necessarily, like part of the whole religious OCD was knowing that the Lord knows what's on my heart, so I don't have to say the same thing every single night, worried that if I don't say it, that something's going to happen. Like, for example, asking for protection over every single member of my family, and if I don't, then something might happen, and then it's my fault because I didn't pray for them. Learning that to come to him genuinely, that if there aren't any words or anything that's coming to me, that I don't have to extend my prayer just to reach what felt right, like felt like a right amount of time or a right amount of words. And now it's kind of ironic in an unironic way that now it's extending that in a sense of, okay, so I taught you that short prayers are okay, that if you're not praying like an extended amount of time, if you just are with me and not necessarily spilling everything, then that's fine, even if it's just like a short couple minutes, 5 minutes or whatever. Now it's gone to, okay, I taught you that, so now I need you to teach you to be comfortable with the silence. That even if nothing is on your mind, and I'm not saying anything, if you're just in the silence with me, just being there with me, that is enough. And that is so hard sometimes, of just like learning to do that every single night is what I'm trying to learn to do it. And it's so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for it. And at the same time, like, if you are someone who struggles with silencing your mind, or just being still, or just whatever, I'm sure you understand how much of a growth that takes. So, like, I can't even remember what I was bouncing off of them for this, but yeah, that's basically what I'm learning in this kind of season of my relationship with God. So it's crazy what He will teach you and what He will grow, because many times it will be like all the time it will be different for different people. There could be things that you're learning that somebody already learned in their first year of Christ, and you're on your 22nd. There are things that you could be learning that somebody else isn't learning. Like, it just depends on your walk with Christ.
Like, when you look at water and it's still, what do you feel? Peace.
I'm finna be still. I'm finna get on that stillness.
Ashley Hetherington saying finna is something I will never get used to. Alright, well, I think I'm about ready for bed. I'm exhausted.
Me too, Malios.
Okay, Ashley H, let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed. It's been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a really good day, though.
It has been a good day.
It's been a really good week.
Good night, Ashley H.
Good night, Alios.
Sweet prophetic dreams.
Sweet prophetic dreams.
Okay, I very much enjoyed that, and I definitely want to dig in more of this series. I just have to figure out how I'm going to go about it, because this is over an hour recording, and I don't do that long for my regular channel. So I am going to try to figure out a couple things. In editing, I guess, is what I will decide. So once this is out, you will know. So yeah, we will have to figure this one out, because now I'm just realizing that this was a 22 minutes. So all of these are going to be probably higher times. And any series that I want to do episode-wise that is about this length or more is probably going to be that way. Like, I'm wanting to do other series that are 20 plus minutes, so I will probably do whatever I do with this, do with that. I thank you all for coming, and I thank you all for staying until the end. And I pray blessings upon you all and bid you adieu. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It is night for me, so good night to you. Goodbye.